it's a real honour, I think a real moment in time for us as an organisation having this kind of debate about MOOCs and the future of education and learning. We've also got a fantastic range of brilliant minds and thinkers and practitioners and doers around the table. It looks a little bit like the United Nations here. Shouldn't be so formal, but we're absolutely delighted to have you here this evening for this event. I'm going to lead over to Anant to talk about his developments of, I think, one of the most innovative programs in education globally, to share his views with us. We're massively grateful to have you here, Anant, this evening, and thank you very much.
Oh, thanks. So maybe I'll start by talking very briefly about what edX is and where we're headed, just to sort of give you at least some baseline to ask questions. So edX is an online learning destination, and our mission is to dramatically increase access to learning and education for students all over the world, while at the same time to improve campus education, to improve the way we teach on campuses, and also to do research on learning, and I'll talk about all of these three things. It's funny when you look back to education through the centuries, everything around us has changed. So let's take, pick transportation, for example. Transportation has changed completely from the 1600s. When you had the people walking around to, sitting on traveling in ox carts to horses, to carriages, to rocket ships, and what have you today. Same thing with medicine. But education hasn't changed. The last big innovation in education, I think there were two. One was the printing press in the mid-1400s, and you had textbooks. And then in 1862, you had, anyone want to guess? What did we have in 1862? And we're using the Socratic method here.
Blackboard.
Pardon?
The blackboard.
The blackboard, okay, and a piece of chalk. And not much else has happened in the way of the major technological breakthroughs in education. And what is really funny is that even when the textbook was invented and the chalk was invented, there was huge opposition. So when the textbook was invented, huge opposition to textbooks. There were people up in arms saying, what are all the monks going to do? They're all going to lose their jobs because they had a lock. They had a lock on scribing. So they would take books and scribe them, and they had a total lock on this business. And people said that the printed book is never going to match in quality, come nowhere close to quality to the handwritten word by monks. And look where we are today. Similarly, in 1862, when the blackboard was invented, you wouldn't believe it, but professors were up in arms against the blackboard. Anyone want to guess why people were totally against the blackboard? Any guesses? Doesn't make any sense, but why? Why do you think people were totally opposed to blackboards?
Because you could rub it off.
That's a feature, but you're right, that could be, but what else? Not quite.
Ruin the skill of oratory?
Ruin the skill of, well, you could still, you still use the skill of oratory with a blackboard. Pardon?
Let's turn that back on the student.
That's it. So they were really upset that when you wrote on the blackboard, you would turn your back on the students, and this would never fly, this would never take off. By the way, I've actually learned to write this way. I promise you I can actually do that. And so be that as it may, people opposed each of these changes, and look where we are today. But my point was that education really hasn't changed. And although online learning has been around for 30, 40 years, what we have done as purveyors of fine MOOCs, or if you will, online learning is not new. It's been around for a long time. Just that what we have done with MOOCs is that, really putting it very bluntly, is really popularized online learning, and really brought attention to education, and really popularized the application of technology to learning in a way that has really caught the attention of pretty much everybody, including the press and the government, and they're saying, oh, education is exciting again. And VCs, but VCs are pouring money into startups. By the way, edX is a nonprofit, so VCs are pouring money into startup companies, and education is really exciting and hot, and people are running around looking for the next big idea in education. And I get asked by the press all the time, so what do you think? Is this being hyped too much? I said, absolutely, books are being hyped too much, and I think it's a good thing. So they said, what do you mean? I said, if there's one, you have to hype something. And if you have to hype something, why not hype education? Heck, even our ministers are talking about education and saying we should do something about schools and colleges. Isn't that a good thing? And so if MOOCs have done that, at the very least, I think we've done a good thing. edX is a nonprofit. We were founded out of MIT and Harvard with a $60 million investment. We have some of the world's best universities as our partners that offer courses on edX. Universities like Harvard and MIT, Berkeley, Tsinghua from China, IIT Bombay, Hong Kong University, and Peking University, and others. So they offer courses on edX, and we have about 1.8 million learners from every country in the world on our platform right now. We have about 130 odd courses in topics ranging from every topic: business, law, humanities, sciences, math, physics, business, medicine, public health, name it, and there are courses in that area. So learners can come and take these courses online, and these courses are called MOOCs. They're massive because lots of people take them. So when I offered the first course on edX about 2 years and a few months ago, without any marketing dollars, 155,000 students from 162 countries signed up to take this extremely MIT hard course, where we advertise honestly differential equations and complex analysis as prerequisites. And so 155, in case you begin to wonder, 155,000 is a big number. That number was bigger than the total number of alumni out of MIT in its 150-year history. So it did catch people's attention. Even now, as courses are taught, there's a Introduction to Computer Science course from Harvard. It attracted 180,000 students. It launched 2 weeks ago. For universities that offer lectures, what's the common length of lectures in the UK? 2 hours? Sometimes it's an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. So researchers did a study on edX looking at video lengths and student engagement. And so he looked at videos ranging from 2 minutes in length to an hour and a half. And what he found was that the maximum engagement was at 6 minutes. So 6-minute videos were the most engaging. And what was amazing was once the videos got longer than 6 minutes, my prediction was that it's going to saturate, and people would watch maybe a 40-minute or 50-minute video for 20 minutes. But no, as videos got longer, the engagement fell. So for 40-minute videos, students were watching them for 2 minutes. So it just tanked. And so again, it goes to how you could have shorter videos, but interleave the videos with interactive exercises or online labs to engage the students, so that just not forcing them to sit and listen to something in a passive way. So we are learning quite a bit with the research as well. So the future looks very exciting. I think, as with everything else, there's a hype cycle, and then we've probably seen this curve: a big hype cycle, and then a trough, and then things picks up again. And so right now, the world claims that we're in a trough where people are lambasting MOOCs. In the first year, they said MOOCs would solve all the world's problems, including cancer, the water crisis, energy, and so on. And now they discovered it's merely good for education. And so we're in this trough right now. But the good news is that we see now we still see great potential, and both for improving quality, increasing access, and doing research on how students learn. The students still flock to MOOCs. As I said, we are at 1.8 million learners from all over the world. We are a nonprofit. One other thing that edX did, so there's a number of for-profit MOOC providers, like, for example, the one in the UK that's quite popular is FutureLearn. And one of the things edX did as a nonprofit was we made a platform available as open source. The for-profit providers have proprietary platforms. It's their own platform. They won't give the platform to you. Go to openedx.org. You can download all our code for free. And we gave that away about 6 months ago. And since then, we've seen many national adoptions. So China adopted OpenEdX, and Tsinghua, along with the Ministry of Education, launched a Chinese national platform. Similarly, France did the same thing. So frankly, France has been pretty cutting edge on this. They were one of the earliest adopters of massive online education at a national level. And their Ministry of Education launched FUN, France Université Numérique, using Open edX. Queen Rania from Jordan launched EdRock, which is a Middle East platform using Open edX. Japan launched JMOOC, which is again a Japan national platform using Open edX. And 6 to 7 other nations are in the works in doing the same thing as we discussed this with them. So this is really, as we open source the platform, and people can freely use the platform, there seems to be a lot of interest in creating national infrastructures so that those universities that don't have access to coming aboard edX or one of the for-profit platforms can just take this national infrastructure and create courses and use that for their general population. The whole millennial generation that is so comfortable, texting and tweeting and WhatsApping and Snapchatting and emailing and Facebooking and so on. And that generation is so comfortable, watching videos and asking questions online.
It's changing the way people do things. It's changing what people do. It's changing the access.
It's energy efficient. It's green. It costs little. And you're not taking up valuable real estate.
It's probably one of the breaks that's happening in the UK in the university sector is they look at MOOCs and say, I don't understand how this works with my existing model. All it will do is abstract students, abstract revenue.
It's outward focused.
Yeah, whereas you feel that the real opportunity is saying, okay, what if I were to reimagine a university in the digital age? What would it look like? And then the MOOC is at the heart of the physical organisation, and it becomes an easy thing to make massive.
As educators, we should recognize where technology is today. We should recognize cultural, modern, cultural mores and norms, and try to match our pedagogy going ahead to ways in which it will appeal the most to students.
I've liked the way the MOOC world has exploded out of HE. Up into corporate learning, so you have Adidas, SAP, and Google, and all sorts of people doing MOOCs there. That's interesting. But also downwards and sideways into further education, vocational learning. And I have a funny feeling that the big prize here might not be HE.
We've had a lot of experience of going into schools in the UK and have seen the fear of many teachers in doing something, A, which they don't yet know about, and B, the fear of the children learning faster than they do and asking them questions to which they don't know the answer. So I think, I fear that there may be quite a strong backlash within at the school level.
I'm really excited about that edge where teaching and learning are synonymous, where you don't really, it's really difficult to distinguish between the two. And in a fantastic lesson you see it with the blended learning, with those opportunities where children and parents are engaging in that learning process. We're seeing some phenomenal results.
How do we get over this barrier of interaction and engagement when the only people that can really interact with one another are learners on a similar level, and there's no number of teachers that can support these grand numbers that we're seeing of tens or hundreds of thousands of learners? And it feels like a big sticking point and a challenge for MOOCs to be able to mature so that learners can be supported.
So where next for MOOCs?
Today, kids are born with keyboards, pinned to their fingers. So I think it'll start from kindergarten and go all the way to, I call it continuous learning. Why stop learning when you graduate from college? Learn continuously forever. And so I think it's all the way through.